Hi, welcome to the Eyes on Film podcast, the podcast for seasoned cinephiles and budding film buffs alike. I'm Bubba.
I'm Bella. We're lifelong movie lovers, and we thought we'd share some of our wisdom and insanity with all of you. So grab a cozy blanket, a furry friend, a snack, or whatever makes you happy. Get settled and comfy and enjoy the show.
Wow, that was pretty professional sounding. Look at you.
I mean, I did learn from the best. Don't let that go to your head.
Yeah, give me his number. I want to.
I don't think you could remember it.
I wouldn't. No, that's true. I wouldn't remember it. And I wouldn't remember his name.
What's my name?
I don't remember. You tell me. Fill me in the end, and I'll go along with it.
Well, welcome everyone to Eyes on Film. We just went live on YouTube, which is very exciting. So thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And stay tuned till the end of the video to find out what our next deep dive is going to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't skip over anything and go straight to the end. And please like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Cheap bastards. But please, it just helps us. We're brand new.
So what are we doing today?
You're asking me? This is your big episode. You don't even remember?
I do remember, but you weren't asking.
My God. Well, Isabella, this episode is a deep dive into your favorite movie.
My favorite movie?
Your favorite movie.
My favorite movie? Do you remember what my favorite movie is?
Citizen Kane. Oh, kidding. I kid. The Fifth Element.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I knew you would be.
I'm so excited.
I knew you would be. Yeah.
So yes, today is a deep dive on The Fifth Element, directed by Luc Besson. It was released in 1997. It's about 2 hours long, and it's honestly got a pretty stacked cast. We've got Bruce Willis as Corbin Dallas, Mila Jovovich as Lilu, Gary Oldman as John Baptiste Emmanuel Zorg, aka Zorg, Ian Holm as Priest Vito Cornelius, and Chris Tucker as Ruby Rod, and then Brian James as
General Monroe?
Yes, General Monroe.
Yes.
Yes.
And Tiny Lister as?
The President of the United States.
Yes. Or President of Earth, right? Is he the President of Earth?
Is he the President of Earth?
I think it was Earth.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He was the president.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a little story about that. We'll tell you later.
Yeah, stay tuned for a fun Tiny Lister story.
Yes, fun Tiny Lister.
But this is a sci-fi movie. It's one of my favorites. Bubba first showed it to me when I was really little, or not too little. I was.
No.
Well.
Yeah. I hung it above her crib,
but
she was young, but a fun movie. And
it's a really fun movie. I'd say it's probably like PG-13 or something. It's not.
I don't even know the ratings.
But it's a fun sci-fi movie, and I think it's one of the best movies ever. I feel like a lot of people think it's really campy, which it is, or really outrageous, which it is, but there are so many other wonderful qualities that I'm really excited to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it really is a fun movie. I saw this movie in the cinema when it came out. I loved it.
You lucky bastard.
It's it's visual bubblegum, it's just like a lot of it's just interesting to look at. There's so much going on, and the costumes were designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier, and just crazy fun movie. It was just really exciting to watch, and interesting story. Great acting performances by everybody in the cast. Like every cast member nailed it. And just very layered, very interesting, very fun. This is sci-fi,
through and through.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I will give you a brief summary of the plot. I will do my best So, um, story follows Corbin Dallas and Lilu, who are the main characters. And Lilu is the fifth element. So there's the, traditional four elements: water, fire, earth, and air. And then Lilu is the fifth element. And she needs to save the world from ultimate evil, also known as Mr. Shadow, who is working with Zorg to enact his evil plans. So Vito Cornelius, Ruby Rod, David, Vito's apprentice priest, his squire, and Corbin and Lilu all need to get to Egypt, where the fifth element temple is, in order to stop Mr. Shadow. So yeah.
Thus, the end of the world.
Dun dun dun.
Meanwhile.
Yeah, and this. Do you think this story is creative? Like the script, I think it's super creative.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's this thing. There's only like, I can't remember what it was, but there's only like 7 different types of stories or something in the world, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Which to a certain extent is true, but it's just how these stories are told, and boy meets girl, girl, has to save the world, or they have to save the world, or whatever. I mean, it's kind of like, you see that a fair amount, but the way this story is told and the specifics of this story are really unique and interesting and creative. Like visually, it's spectacular, and I keep harping on the visuals because it is a very visual movie. But the performances are incredible. The story is great. Yeah, it really is. It's great. It's interesting because everything is so outrageous. It allows you to forgive whatever you might see as a flaw. But they also thought very thoroughly about the world that it exists in,
which we'll talk about a little bit more soon.
Yeah.
I think it's a really creative movie.
Yeah.
But I think we should talk a little bit about the acting, and just we don't have to go through all of them, but just
it wasn't a documentary.
Yes, it was.
It's very good.
But we can just talk about a few standout scenes and maybe 1 or 2 of our favorite performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think both Bubba and I's favorite scene in the movie is the robbery.
Give me the cash.
Been here long?
Yeah, long enough. Come on, give me the cash.
Is that a Z140? Alleviated titanium. Newer charge assault model.
Yeah.
Good thing for me it's not loaded.
What do you mean it's not loaded?
Well, you have to push that little yellow button to load it. Take your time.
Oh, God.
You want me to? Okay. There you go.
Give me the cash!
That's a very dangerous gun. Maybe you better let me hang on to this one for you, huh? You don't mind, do you?
No.
You sure?
No. Take it. I don't need it.
That's very nice, Ed.
You like it?
Yeah.
It's so great. And
that hat, by the way, is been dubbed hallway hat.
Hallway hat.
It's called hallway hat.
That's amazing. I love that so much.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, I have like a quick little. I'm sorry, I do this all the time. Adam Savage just posted a video of
the ZF1,
the original ZF1.
Yeah, I saw it.
Props. At the prop store, and he built one
and gave it to Gary Oldman.
Well, he built another one for Gary Oldman.
Sorry, I just loved that video.
Built a third fully working one, which doesn't really look at all like. It looks kind of like it, but it's like
Yeah,
3 times the size. But yeah, but that actually worked,
that's awesome.
which is really fun. But yeah, so they have the actual prop of it, and it's awesome. And Adam Savage's enthusiasm for this movie is contagious,
It's
as
amazing.
I hope ours is, because it is just a really fun, remarkable, great movie. Sorry, I totally
No,
side
it's
questioned
okay.
on that one, but
No, that's
yeah,
fine. Yeah, and Adam Savage also did a video on the Manda Showen suit
costume, yeah,
and
the suit,
the
yeah,
head, which
yeah,
was really great. Yeah, check out Adam Savage's Fifth Element stuff because it's really cool.
yeah, yeah. I'll see
Yeah.
if I can throw some links up if I remember.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, really check it out. If you're a fan of the Fifth Element, look at it. You're gonna
definitely.
love it. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, so the
So,
robbery scene.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
totally blew that one for you.
that's so cute.
That's why I'm here, right? And you always go out with your ugly friend, so you look better, or like you, you go on a podcast with a stupid guy, so you look smart.
Exactly. That was exactly my plan.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, I love that scene. It's so silly. It's so out of left field.
It
Um,
is.
at no point in that scene do I know where it's going, and it's great.
Why would you like?
Exactly.
I mean, we were talking about this the other day. This is actually our second time doing this podcast. We had incredible technical issues the last time, and this time too. But we're working through it. But we were talking about this, and I had said that scene really does not propel the story at all. It really doesn't. There's absolutely no reason to have that in the film. And you were like, well, it kind of establishes Bruce Willis's character, which is true. Yeah, he thinks, through like weird, difficult situations, and he keeps his head, and so I guess it does, in effect, contribute.
I think it
The movie,
also
other than being one of the most hilarious
oh, great.
scenes ever. Yeah,
I think it also establishes the setting as well. This movie starts out in New York, very futuristic New York, but New York is full of weirdos who do really weird things.
yeah.
And
Nothing against New York. That's why we like New York.
yeah, no, of course.
Like, no,
Yeah.
this is not a dig. This is like
No,
a good
no,
thing. Yeah.
not at all. But this seems like a very
Yeah.
New York thing that might happen.
Right.
I appreciated that they kept a lot of just the weirdness of human nature and really emphasized it and ran with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
No, really fun. Yeah. So that was a great scene.
and the guy who did it was great too. I don't know who he is, but
He is an actor director. I don't remember the whole thing, but he was like a friend of somebody. I can't remember who it was, but
that's
he was like a friend of somebody, French guy, and he came in. He was like, "Yeah,
give me the cat.
do that." Give me the cat. But yeah, no, it's just super crazy fun scene.
So there's that scene.
Yeah,
What's another scene you really
I really like the demonstration of the ZF-1.
The ZF-1. Slide. Handles adjustable for easy carrying. Good for riders and lefties. Breaks down on 4 parts, undetectable by X-ray. Ideal for quick, discreet interventions. A word on firepower. Titanium recharger. 3,000 round clip with bursts of 3 to 300. With the replay button, another Zorg invention, it's even easier. One shot. And replay sends every following shot to the same location. And to finish the job, all the Zorg oldies but goldies. Rocket launcher. Arrow launcher. With explosion of poisonous gas heads. Very practical. Our famous net launcher. The always efficient flamethrower. My favorite. And for the grand finale, the all-new Ice Cube system. Four full crates.
That's a great scene.
That's
It's a really
fun.
great scene.
Yeah, that's just I love that Gary Oldman. He's so enthusiastic, and he works for righties and lefties, and it's just awesome. Yeah, and flamethrower,
My favorite.
He's so great.
A real killer
Yeah.
would ask about the little red button on the bottom of the
And
gun.
on the bottom.
Tell you what I do like, though. A killer. A dyed-in-the-wool killer. Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough. Now, a real killer, when he picked up the ZF-1, would have immediately asked about the little red button on the bottom of the gun.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to edit all of this out. This is so. Anyway, so there's some really great fun scenes. What else is good? Oh, I also like where everybody's going into to the check-in to go to Flotsam Paradise, and everybody's checking in, and everybody is Corbin Dallas, and
Of course.
the check-in person is just like, what is going on? And it's just really fun, and she does a
So
great
done
job.
with everyone. Yes.
Yeah, she's just like, okay, yeah,
All right. Yeah.
yeah.
That's a
Those are fun
that's a
scenes.
great one.
Yeah, there's so many too. Actually, like when he orders the Thai food or Chinese food, we're not 100%
We're
sure
not
if it's
sure
Thai
if
or
it's
Chinese.
Thai or Chinese.
He promised the cat Thai food.
But I didn't see the cat eating anything, so that makes me think that it wasn't Thai.
Yeah, but he offered it as Thai, so I don't know if it just ended up. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know the difference. I don't know. But well, anyway, he offered the cat Thai food.
Either way, that scene is really cool, and I love the restaurant.
Yeah,
boat.
the boat. Yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
It's
us
so
flying through
great.
the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah,
And the owner, the chef or whatever, he
yeah,
the way he's like, "I'll pack your lunch," and then he reads it. He's like,
yeah.
"You are fired."
Oh, yeah.
So happy.
And I also liked when General Monroe, Brian James, came to his apartment to tell him he's going to Flotsam Paradise, and that whole hiding him and that whole thing was just really funny. So yeah, so many great scenes in that movie. It's really fun.
We'd love to help, but I mean, there's only one door. Where can we hide? Major, we don't have time for this.
It's just 1 minute. Stuart, how much you're helping me? No idea. No idea. I'm very happily married.
Major, Major, what? Major! What? The three of us won't fit in there.
Sure you will.
It's hard to pick out just one.
This one, but if you had to, it would be the murder in the hallway.
Oh
Just
my God,
the
that's
best.
amazing. I think one of my favorite, more serious scenes is towards the end of the movie when Lilu searches war on the computer. That scene really gets me almost every time.
That's like my morning browser history, Isabella. Like,
I feel so sad for you.
how do you think I get myself worked up and happy in the morning?
It's like Gomez getting excited over his stocks
his
going
trains-
down.
Yeah,
Like,
or his train's crashing.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
But that scene, I think visually it's really well done. I think
Yeah.
it works on a lot of levels. You know, it helps you understand where Lilu is coming from. And then it's also a reflection of where we are and how humans work and humanity and how flawed we are. I think the fact that the movie has a happy ending, you know, with Lilu destroying evil and her and Corbin getting their happy ending,
Yeah.
was really hopeful and positive. The movie shows both sides of things. I think emphasizes the fact that we need to have hope and want to do better. And we need to find something to want to do better for.
That movie in general is a hopeful. It's not like a dark movie. You don't walk out of there going, "Huh."
No.
Yeah. It's like, why are we? It's meant to be a hopeful, inspiring movie,
Which
and it's fun. Yeah.
one thing that they did in the movie that I really liked was using phone calls as a way to build Corbin's circle
That's
of people and his backstory, right? So
yeah.
Corbin, he calls Finger, who's his boss and seems like his
Yeah.
best friend.
Yeah.
And Finger's pissed about the cab, but Corbin's wanting to
Yeah.
talk about this
But
girl.
they're
And
still friends. Yeah.
yeah. And Finger's like, all right.
Yeah, they were in the military together, and
Yeah.
then when they got out, Finger opened up the
Give him a
taxi company
job.
or whatever. He
Yeah.
gave him a job. But the job is like the friendship,
Supersedes the job.
supersedes the yeah.
Yeah.
So which is fun. And I think it's the only role I like Vin Diesel in.
You don't like Groot?
Uh, I was
Come
surprised
on.
I was surprised he memorized his lines.
Uh,
Sorry, Vin.
no, you're not. Liar.
There is actually a Vin Diesel movie I do like. And it's called Pitch Black. And it was
Is it because you can't see him?
right. It was before he bought the franchise of Pitch Black and turned it into the Chronicles of Riddick and all this other stuff. But the original Pitch Black was actually a pretty good movie. I liked it. Yeah.
I have not
So
seen it. I'll have to
yeah, check
check
it
it
out.
out.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's dated now, but whatever. It was fun when it came out. And I still like it. Kind of cool.
Yeah. Give it a shot.
Yeah.
And then
But yeah, Vin Diesel played Finger. So spoiler. There.
and then the other or there's actually 3 only phone call based relationships that we see. So there's Zorg and Mr. Shadow. They only talk via phone, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool. And then my favorite, just because it's so funny, is Corbin and his mother.
His mother. Yeah.
And Corbin's mother, this is my hot take.
Get ready for Bella's hot. Get ready for Bella's hot take.
Corbin's mother actually saved the world.
Explain that, please.
So when Corbin is sitting down on his bed talking to his mom, she's yelling at him about how he won a trip to Floston Paradise and, like he better take her with him and all this stuff. And he's like, if I'd have won a trip, somebody would have told me about it. And then as he's saying that, he's about to strike a match and light up a cigarette. And it shows you how many matches are left. And just as he's about to light it, he gets a piece of mail. Like he just gets mail.
Oh, yeah, it comes into the mail slot.
Yeah. And he's like, Ma, I'll call you back. Puts everything away, doesn't light the cigarette, goes and checks
Doesn't
the
light
mail.
the last cigarette. That's right.
Right? And at the end of the movie, that match that he didn't light is what he needed to make the fire on the stone. So
Had she not called? Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
Wow. He really should be thanking his mother.
He should be more grateful.
Yeah.
But that's just an example of the amount of detail that's in this movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Next time I watch it, I gotta really pay attention to that. But that's a really good observation as well.
Thank you. It's only because I watched this movie so many hundreds of times.
I know. But we have bonded forever over this. But look at this. The movie came out in what, 97?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still learning new stuff about it. Like that's just so cool.
It's awesome. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I don't know if that's something that everyone has noticed, but
well, I didn't. Well, but then again, I'm here to make you look good.
Exactly. But if there's any other things in the movie that we don't talk about in this podcast, please comment and let us know what they are.
Yeah, and if you know any other like tidbits or trivia or Easter eggs and stuff like that, please let us know.
We would love to hear about it.
Love that stuff.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Should we go on to visuals?
Yeah, definitely. How would you, well, if you're going to explain what?
Nothing.
Well, go ahead. And you just go ahead.
I didn't say anything. I was laughing.
Oh, okay. How would you describe the visuals of this movie? Or well, if you were gonna sort of opine on what the visuals were like in this movie.
What is that word?
Opine?
Opine.
Yeah. It's when you're giving your opinion or you're speaking to something, you
Um,
go on ad length, ad nauseum, if you will. Sir, allow me to opine. Here in the great state of Florida, Georgia, in the South. Thank you. I shall opine profusely.
I'm so sorry, everyone, for him.
I'm sorry too. I apologize to the South. Guys, I'm so sorry. The South. I love you, the South. I'm sorry. Why am I apologizing in every video to somebody?
Because there's no filter. There's just nothing.
No filter. Yeah.
It just comes out. It just-
Yeah, but yeah, so
the visuals.
yeah, you were going to opine.
I was. And then I was interrupted.
Yeah.
So the visuals in this. You guys only have to deal with this for the video. I have to deal with this
Right.
every day of my life. This is my father. I grew up with this.
Yeah.
Help.
I'm so sorry.
Help.
So sorry.
So the I can't even do it now. The visuals in this movie are really extravagant and they're really detailed, well thought out. So the way they did the bigger sets like New York,
In New York City.
they built a miniature New York and then they used some CGI to fill in some things and just kind of make everything look smooth. But all the props are like practical effects. The ZF-1, the only thing in there that's not practical is the gun opening because there's just no way to do that.
Yeah, not everything fit in that little pod.
Exactly. But but you know, the ZF-1, they check out Adam Savage's video, you can see it.
They had
really
a ZF-1 for every function, like
that's so
which
awesome.
was really cool.
That's so great.
It was great.
I didn't know that actually. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The CGI in this movie is just used when it needs to be used, which I think is great. And also for 97, this is the very, very beginning of CGI. And it looks a little dated now, but given the time and all of that,
Honestly,
it's pretty good.
If you look at it, to be honest, it looks cartoonish.
Yeah.
I think they were aware of the limitations of CGI and they were like, okay, we're not going to be able to, pass anything off as real with this. So when you take the most crazy cartoonish moment, which is probably showing the city with all the cars going flying up and down, it's just like complete chaos and madness. They used CGI for that. And actually that was, like Isabella said, that was a combination of CGI, practical model making, and matte backdrops and stuff like that.
Right.
And, paintings and stuff like that. It was all integrated into this whole crazy scene. And it was done really well, to be honest. And I don't see any reason why it would be bad or would need to change it or anything like that. I thought it looked really good.
I thought so too. And even the cars, almost all the ones that you saw up close, they had models. They had like actual all of that. I was really cool with. I've always been really cool with it. The only thing that honestly still bugs me is the shots of Lost in Paradise from above.
Space.
Yeah, it just
it's so.
But it's literally seconds of the movie, so it's fine.
But again, it's cartoonish.
It's cartoonish. There was a lot of effort made to make sure it still looked good. They didn't rely
definitely
on CGI. It wasn't their only thing. There was a lot of work put into these sets put into everything
Absolutely.
visually, and
Yeah,
the
everything.
props. The Mondashowans, there were actual guys in those suits waddling, and
Yeah,
it's so great. And
yeah,
they even designed the suit so that they could take out a static head and put in a like a control,
animatronic.
yeah, animatronic head, which
Yeah,
just there was a lot of thought and time and blood put into this.
yeah.
It was definitely a labor of love for everyone except apparently Gary Oldman. Um,
But you know what? Apparently, he was really, really happy to get the ZF1,
yeah, I'm
and
sure it wasn't a thing he regretted doing. I think it just wasn't
yeah,
his favorite.
like it's not his
Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
but
yeah.
so
But I think I got the feeling that he enjoyed doing it.
I don't see
You
how
know.
he couldn't. It just
Yeah,
seemed like a fun movie, and almost all the cast members have said it was a fun movie to make. Yeah. So as far as like just kind of behind the scenes stuff, really cool. They had people like
yeah,
the windows on the buildings. They had to put stuff behind them, and make if you could see into a window, you had to be able to see something. It couldn't just be like a blank. Right.
right. Yeah,
So
they put up like little tiny paintings and a little tiny coffee table
right. Yeah,
and
it
all that
was,
stuff. Like they made like dollhouses that were like to scale
which
or
is
whatever.
crazy, and
Yeah,
I love that. I love that they did that. They took the time to do it.
I do too. I do too. And it shows like the attention to detail in that movie was
As
extensive.
far as just other kinda little details, there were a lot of things that I liked. They weren't necessarily like, effects or props or anything, but
Mhm.
just a lot of quirky things that people did. When Cornelius and Lilu are in Corbin's apartment, Corbin asks Cornelius if he wants some coffee. He says yes.
Yeah,
So Corbin takes his mug of coffee, pours it back into the pot, and just reheats it, which is
which is
so
hilarious.
funny. It's just okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
there's so many funny little things.
yeah, and we never see Finger, and Corbin has a picture of him and Finger, but we never see it. It's so funny.
One of the lines I do like in that movie is he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm looking at a picture of you right now," and he goes, "How do I look?" He goes, "He's like crap" or
Yeah.
something like that. He goes, "Yeah, it must be an old picture." It's really just cool little lines
It's
like that.
awesome.
Like,
Yeah, there's tons of little
yeah,
quips, and
kind of
it's
fun.
so great. It's so great.
Yeah,
I also love the thought put into the futuristic aspects of this setting. So
yeah,
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, so, when Lilu, is running from the cops and she comes out of the tunnel, and she's standing at the edge of the building, uh, a giant train goes down, vertically. And
Yeah,
at first I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then I was thinking a little bit more about it, and I was like, "This city is," you know, there's multiple levels to this city, and
yeah,
how would average day people traverse it? Obviously, parking is still limited. So, there's still trains, and of course, there would be a vertical train. It's just
yeah.
it's little things like that that really immerse me in the world, make me believe that this is real, and
Especially since they still have McDonald's.
oh my god, the McDonald thing. That is
Yeah,
so
that's so
funny.
funny.
It's so great.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm
Yeah.
wondering if the entire building is McDonald's, and, like, depending on which level you're on, there's different. I really
Could
feel
be.
like that might be, or,
Yeah,
do people like, "Oh, you wanna meet at McDonald's, or you wanna get McDonald's?" And they're like, "Ah, I'm in between
yeah,
levels, it's just not,"
yeah.
you know?
But I like how they have a drive-through in the city or a fly-through, whatever that is, which is really fun.
And then the makeup box that Lilu has, the Chanel makeup box, which was really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, which is that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the black light in the science thing.
Yeah, I think that was more of a production thing that
Yeah,
I thought
but it was still
was really interesting. I don't think that was I don't think I would lump that into the technology, but I would lump it
oh,
into, like,
no, I was just thinking of, yeah.
of
Yeah,
interesting things in a movie.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, very use of a very basic tool, which is black light. to make things glow and stuff like that. It was really smart, and it worked really well.
It really did.
You know, yeah,
And it was such a
yeah. I thought they were,
short clip. Like it's not
yeah,
it but there were so many dots and like you could tell it was a lot of makeup to put on them and
yeah,
it
yeah,
took time, but it was like a 5-second thing. It's just
yeah. But it was all practical, and with a
yeah.
black light, you'd get it like Spencer Gifts at the time, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, but the production and everything was thought. Oh, and you had mentioned to me earlier the nail polish
Oh, yeah, so Zorg's
thing.
secretary, puts her finger in this little thing, and
Yeah,
it paints her nail for her,
paint her
which
nails.
is just
Yeah,
so cool. I just yeah,
that's fun.
yeah, yeah, and, oh, the food pellets?
Chicken. Good. Chicken.
Oh, like when
Yeah,
she makes the
chicken.
turkey or the Thanksgiving thing.
And good.
Yeah, I honestly, like, every time I see that, I get, like, really
Me
hungry or in the mood
too.
for turkey. Like, it's not, I mean, she says chicken, but I think Thanksgiving turkey or whatever it is. Like, I'm like, yeah, I want that with all the fixings.
Yeah, no, it looks yeah, and it looks delicious, like, it looks
Yeah, it does, like, well
oh, now I'm
made.
hungry.
Yeah, but I'd love to be able to do that. Just ching, 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 right? Your couple of Tic Tacs into a bowl
I
and
would
then
be
throw it in the
that's my dream. That's my dream.
rehydrator.
I ugh.
Why don't we have that yet?
Thank
You
you.
know what? That's your jetpack.
That's my jetpack. So when Bubba was a
Yeah,
kid, uh,
they promised us
yeah,
jetpacks. I was gonna be able to fly to school.
yeah, and
Never got my jetpack.
no, and I want food pellets.
I want oh,
I hate cooking. I want food pellets.
uh,
So, yeah, just a bunch of there's some other stuff we
yeah,
did,
lots of
but
cool stuff.
there 'cause just costumes kind of fall under visuals. Do we
Yeah, definitely. So, Jean-Paul Gaultier, which is a, fashion designer, um, did all of the costumes for the movie. 800 costumes, I think it was, is the number
something like that.
that stuck
Yeah.
it's the number that stuck in my head,
Yeah.
so, yeah, did 800 costumes, and they were, like, crazy elaborate costumes. Like, these weren't, like, just, like, something out of the back lot that, you just kinda, "Oh, I'll just put, brown pants and this is that." No, he, like, designed each costume, which was pretty impressive,
And
actually. Like, and the costumes were creative. I think fashion obviously is it gets a little silly for me,
but I mean,
and
you were really into fashion for a while, like
when I
yeah,
was young, I was into fashion,
yeah.
but like, the couture fashion and like the Gautiers and the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah. Are you on a boat today? I can't no?
Yes. But
Uh, I felt like it was fashion kind of making fun of itself almost, and,
there
um,
there were a lot of I think
just ridiculous, but
yeah, I think there was honestly a lot of symbolism and meaning in the costumes. I think with especially with the opera scene with the diva, the more upper class people you see, the less practical their clothing becomes, which I thought was really
yeah,
interesting. And it's still kind of like that in the sense that, people buy Gucci and whatever, they buy these really insane brands and the clothes aren't like they're not that good, or like
yeah, like,
like Yeezys.
oh god, I don't even no, don't even get me
No,
started
no, no,
on
we're not gonna do
that.
that.
Yeah,
But they're
yeah,
expensive and they look terrible. And yeah, and
ridiculous,
they're
like,
not practical. So
yeah,
and that's I thought that was really interesting. And,
yeah,
Zorg's costume, it really looks like it was modeled after, Victorian era French aristocracy,
yeah,
which
yeah, yeah,
I thought was really interesting. It's got
super practical. No, sorry.
so practical. But I thought that was interesting and it gives these characters some
Yeah,
history it
yeah,
and Jean-Paul Gaultier,
yeah,
he plays a lot with kinda blurring gender lines as far as clothing goes.
yeah, yeah,
Corbin's in a latex orange tank top, not exactly the manliest thing in the world, but he
No.
still looks like he could kick your ass. But it's definitely got.
By the same token, I don't know if there's a movie that Bruce Willis is not wearing a tank top.
I'm
So
not saying
maybe Bruce Willis in the future Bruce Willis, you got to evolve with the times.
you could be right. You could be right. That is true. That is true. But I guess the most obvious example of that is Ruby Rod, and
Yeah, definitely.
I thought it was really interesting the way they chose to costume him, and then
Yeah,
chose his character and his characteristics and how he was, because he's
yeah,
much like any other famous person. He's a player.
yeah,
He's kind of a douche. He's
yeah,
entitled, inconsiderate,
yeah,
and definitely into. We saw in the movie he was very into women.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but he's super effeminate. He's super
yeah,
flamboyant. So,
yeah,
but it's never addressed or brought up in the movie. It just is. And you had said that this world that The Fifth Element takes place in seems like a more accepting one on many, many levels. So I
yeah,
really felt that the costuming reflected that and was just really
yeah. I agree with me. Um,
great. Awesome.
Even when I was growing up, everybody had a more optimistic view of what the future was going to be. 97 I was
Already
already
old.
older. I was like, yeah. But even then, like you were kind of thinking, maybe this is what it's going to be like. And they didn't show it as like something, people freaking out or, whatever. It was just kind of like, we're just more accepting of people. And I think that's kind of where Luc Besson was trying to go.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
No,
It's just like, in the future, things will improve and we'll be more accepting of each other.
yeah, exactly.
But, the future's nothing like the future.
No jetpacks,
No jetpack,
no food pellets.
no food pellets.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm not wearing a latex
Oh,
tank top anytime soon.
I didn't know where that sentence was going. I was a little scared. So yeah, the costuming is amazing. It's a ton of work, and it's just it was incredible. I've always
Yeah,
been really impressed with that. So
yeah, me too. And just the design language that they used throughout everything was just interesting, and, I always like whenever, you're watching a movie or a science fiction movie or whatever it is, I always look at those details. Like what are things going to be, what do we imagine things are going to be like in the future? How
yeah,
do we see things? Where's it going to go?
yeah,
They always get music wrong, which is
always.
always get music wrong. I always look at like the watches, or you look at like, how people dress, or, the hat, or what, they always try and do a play on what the suit is going to be in the future.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
It's always something with like, no collar or, a Mandarin collar or something. If I, so yeah, that's what the future is. So yeah, but I thought it was really interesting to see what,
yeah. I also
always interested to see what is
love Zorg's henchmen, and they're
Yeah, spandex. Yeah, with, like, little, like, clear plastic skull caps and stuff, like, they're just so
so
ridiculous
silly.
looking, but
That's awesome.
yeah,
I love it.
so ridiculous.
We
Yeah.
didn't talk at all about the aliens or the Mangalores and the diva and their makeup and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah,
yeah.
I thought the Mangalores were amazing in what they did with them, specifically Aknot, because he was, like, I think the only one who talked, and I love his name, by the way.
I cannot.
I wanna name a pet Aknot. But yeah, no, like, his face when he was talking, everything was all animatronic, which was fantastic. The only time they did use CGI or whatever is when they did what they called at that time was morphing.
Mm.
And it was, morph one face into another. So it would morph from like a human face into the Mangalore face or vice versa. Other than that, though, but the faces were great. They were pretty interesting, and I love the animatronic
Yeah,
movement of them. I think they did a really good job.
I think so too. Even their hands were really interesting,
Yeah,
which was it was really cool to see that, and their their costumes as well. And
yeah,
if you look at each Mangalore, they all look a little bit different. They all have their own kind of facial features. It's not
yeah.
super uh
Defined.
defined, but you can tell like it's cool. There was yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
the diva Plava Laguna, her whole thing was amazing. Uh,
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, she was really cool. Um,
Yeah, just that everything was just so creative.
yeah, absolutely.
Like, I didn't see anything where they were like, "Oh, we'll just leave that."
It was really a passion project, and Luc Besson had
Yeah.
been working on this script since he was 16. It finally got made when he was like 38 or something.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, so it was his baby. I love the music in this movie.
Luc Besson is masterful in the way he uses music, the choices of music that he uses, everything like that. He really gets it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and in Leon the Professional, which is another Luc Besson movie with Gary Oldman, and
Yeah.
Natalie Portman's first movie, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely worth seeing. We'll do a deep dive on that at some point.
Oh, yeah, we'll have
Yeah, yeah. But the music in that too, like just to say exactly the same thing that you just said, Luc Besson is really good with me.
Were there any, like, standout performances for you, like, acting-wise? We've talked a lot about, like, the productions.
Oh, and the scenes, but we didn't do stand-up performances.
Yeah.
To be honest, Ian Holmes' performance always really speaks to me.
Yeah.
He's a very convincing actor. I find
Yeah.
him really
He is.
believable. He does these, like, little nervous tics with Cornelius, like, where he's, like, biting his nails or he
Yeah.
stutters, and it fits so well with the character, and you really believe that this guy is just some priest from the future, which is really cool.
Yeah. He really is like the dedicated priest. He's like more dedicated to what he's doing. He's
Yeah.
invested in his belief or belief system, whatever that is, and he's tenacious.
Yeah.
And you see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does that very
He
well.
does, and just about his character specifically, uh,
Yeah.
his whole job was to let the proper authorities know what was going on, and he did that,
Yeah.
and it didn't
Yeah.
work, so he kept going, and you
Yeah.
could tell he was out of his element, no pun intended, uh, but he was like, "I have to do something." So he just does it,
Right.
and, he gets caught up in the airplane things, and, he ends up in these really weird, wacky situations, but it's all in the pursuit of trying to save the world. I love Cornelius as a character, I love Ian Holm as an actor, and yeah. How about you?
For me, my favorite character in the movie is Monroe, who's played by Brian James. I think he's such an interesting actor. He's like a character actor, never really done much in the way of lead stuff. He did play Leon in Blade Runner, and he's been in a number of movies as like a criminal or a heavy or a thug. He's actually also in a movie called The Player. We played a movie studio executive, which was excellent. Him in this movie, I really felt that he really bought into his role.
Mhm.
He was in it. He played it perfectly in every scene. He seemed really natural with it. It never seemed like he was an actor doing it. It's just his lines just came very naturally. And I thought he was really interesting and funny. And I don't know, I just think he added a lot of texture to the movie.
Yeah.
I really liked him a lot.
Yeah. Every actor in this did amazing, and I feel like if we went through all of them, it would take forever because I would probably talk
Yeah.
about almost everyone who shows up on screen, but
Can we talk just for a moment about Mila Jovovich?
yeah, definitely.
Last conversation we had, we talked about her, and we both came to the conclusion that we think this was her best role. But we also came to the conclusion that she showed so much depth in this character that we feel like she went for success rather than going for interesting acting roles. So
Which
I
is fair.
believe that, which is
Yeah.
fine. Yeah. and that's fine. And I'm not being critical of her at all.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm trying to compliment her. I really think that she showed a lot of depth as an actress in that role, a lot of thought in how she played the role. She took elements from so many different things and applied them to that, which was just sorry.
It was all.
And applied them to that role, which were just amazing. Like when she was 3D printed or, reconstituted or whatever that process is. When they revived her or whatever, she's like fluttering around inside that tube. Like, and I always thought of it as like a moth trapped in a jar, like, going to its light or whatever it was. And she played that super well. Which is not something that's easy to do, like, as an actor, like, and pull that off without looking ridiculous. But she did a really good job with it. And then when General Monroe came over and he's kind of like taunting her a little bit, she kind of got into this like predator mode, and was like, kind of like a cat or something kind of like mean and vicious. And she played that really well. And then
Kubrick
she
stare.
did
Yeah.
the Kubrick stare, which she nailed. I just showed, to me, it showed an actor being thoughtful about who you are in that role. And I really thought she pulled it off. I really think she did a great job.
She was 19 when this was made, which is
just amazing.
It's incredible to me. Like what a performance.
And I'm also glad that Mel Gibson did not end up taking it.
Thank God. Honestly. Jeez. Yeah, Prince was one of the options for Ruby Rod. I didn't see that. You had said you thought that if Prince had played it, it would have been too much about being cool. And I really agree with that. Because Chris Tucker has the humility.
He left cool at the door. Like, yeah.
He's got so much humility that he's like more than down to make fun of himself.
Which is what that role ultimately needed. I think Ruby Rod would have been a funny, interesting character with Prince in it, and it would have been cool to see Prince.
It would have been very
in
different.
another movie, but it would have been very, very different. I think they ended up with the right person.
I agree. Yeah.
Completely.
And it's funny that him and Tiny Lister were both in it, and this is after Friday.
Yes, and that was reunited after the movie Friday, which was
that's cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
met Tiny Lister.
Yes. So we frequented Comic-Cons, because we're nerds. There was a Comic-Con with a bunch of wrestlers and all that stuff, and we actually met Nathan Jones there as well, which is awesome. Tiny Lister was there, and I noticed him, and I went up to my dad. I think I was like 12 or 13 at the time, and I went up to Bubba. I was like, "That's the president from The Fifth Element." And he's like, "Oh my God, it's go say hi." Like, and I was like, "Oh, I don't know," because I saw all the pictures on his table, and he had a bunch in the front, and then The Fifth Element was kind of off to the side. Like
It wasn't even out.
So he didn't even have Fifth Element pictures out. And I knew Gary Oldman wasn't a fan of his performance, and I was really worried that would be the case with Tiny Lister as well. And I didn't want to go up and insult the guy. I was just really scared. I was worried he was an intimidating dude. He's like a big dude. And I was really nervous, but my dad was like, "No, just go, it'll be fine." So I went over, and he had a role in Zootopia, and because I was a kid, I came over. He looks at me, he goes, "Zootopia," and I was like, "Oh gosh!" In my head, I was like, "Ah!" But I mustered up my courage, and I was like, "No, The Fifth Element," and he lit up like a Christmas tree.
Unbelievable. His face he was like. It was amazing. He was so happy.
It was so cool. He was the coolest dude. We had like a 15-minute conversation about everything. He was so impressed. I knew the movie, even more impressed that I recognized him from it. And I wanted an autograph. And before I could even ask, he was like, "Yeah, give me one of the Fifth Element pictures, and I want to give her an autograph." And he, gave it to me for free. And, he, at the time, apparently there was talk about a sequel to The Fifth Element coming out. So he was talking to me about that. It was a really, really magical amazing moment. You know, like I had always loved him in the movie. He was really great in the movie.
Yes.
And I was so thrilled to finally meet an actor from my favorite movie. And he was just so cool and so happy to be recognized for the role, I think. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot of it for me was just I was kind of like what's the word? Starstruck. So
Starstruck.
yeah, so Bubba had to kind of, get me to
I helped the
yeah,
conversation. Yeah.
but he was like Tiny was like talking to me, he was like it was really, really cool, amazing. I still have the autograph. Sadly he passed a while ago. It broke my heart, but yeah, rest in peace, Tiny. But yeah.
So, like, sweet, like a sweet, sweet man.
Yeah.
And he was just so happy to talk to you about it. And he was just so enthusiastic when you brought up the fifth element. He was just, like, he was glowing.
I'd
Like, I was,
never he like, his face was so serious and stern and terrifying, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
he turned into a teddy bear. It was the
yeah,
most amazing transformation I'd ever seen in my life.
yeah.
And I was like, "I just made this guy really happy."
Yeah.
It was
No,
it was
it was
so
really
cool.
very touching to watch that, to be honest. Like, and A, just to see that you can make somebody happy.
Yeah.
Like that just by appreciating something that they did. And then he was like so appreciative of you. He was like, oh man, like
It's
he was
so
like, check
animated.
this,
Yeah.
yeah. And he was just so
It
happy.
was
Like he was
so cool.
more excited to talk to somebody young about that than anything
It
else.
was awesome. It was
Yeah.
like I get like misty-eyed thinking about it. Um,
Yeah.
oh man, like
It hits you every
it
time.
really does, man. Like that is like one of the moments I will never ever forget. It was incredible. And it was so cool to see that he loved it just as much as I did.
Yes.
It
Yes. He
was
was so enthusiastic about it.
and he was so kind and man,
It's you
sorry.
always hope. They always say, "Don't meet your heroes," and that's happened to me a few times, but it worked out well for you.
It
It was like
really
everything you
did.
could ever want,
It was
It was
amazing.
beautiful,
It was amazing. Yeah, like
beautiful moment. Yeah.
yeah, it really was. Yeah. So I forever grateful to him and rest in peace. Like you
Tiny, wherever you are, thank you.
yeah, thank you so much. I like
Yeah.
made a little girl's decade.
Oh,
Like it was
so happy. Yeah.
yeah. I'll see I'll get the autograph out and we'll see if we can put up a picture of it.
Yeah, yeah, that would be
Yeah,
great if you
yeah.
could find it. Yeah,
I was so starstruck though, I forgot to ask for a picture with him.
yeah, and I think we were all so dumbfounded too. And
Yeah, I
but
think you knew he would be nice about it, but I
oh,
don't
yeah.
think you expected him to be that.
I did not expect
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Did not
yeah,
expect that.
yeah.
Like, it was like he was meeting Tiny Lister if he was a fan of the film. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like
Yeah. Yeah, it was so cool. And at one
it's so
point,
fun.
me and Tiny were just chatting, and you went over and met Nathan Jones. So I was
Yes.
just having a conversation with Tiny
Yeah, you
Lister.
were just hanging out with Tiny
It
Lister,
was
which was awesome.
so cool. I was this close to being like, "You wanna get a
Yeah.
coffee, man?" Like
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that's my Tiny Lister story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, that
oh,
was
oh my
really
god, one thing. He would
yes.
haunt me from beyond the grave if I didn't say this. Um, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, before I left, he was like, "If you ever meet Obama, you tell him that I was the first black president." I was like, "I
Yes.
got you, Tiny." So, former President Obama, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You were not the
Yeah.
first black president. It was, in fact, Tiny
Yeah.
Lister.
Tiny Lister
But that was so
did a
cool too. Like,
did a good job.
yeah,
Did a good
yeah,
job.
yeah.
Under his administration, saved the
Save the
world.
universe.
That's right, save the universe.
What president can say that? Tiny Lister.
Well, you'll find presidents that'll say that.
Well,
It's not true.
yeah. Thank you guys
So
for
fun.
listening to that.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about the dialogue a little bit? First of all, one of my favorite lines in the movie is, "No, I am a meat popsicle."
Sir, are you classified as human?
Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
Which just and for the longest time I was like, I cannot be hearing that right. And then I had subtitles on and it was like, nope, that's
Yeah, no,
that's
that's exactly
accurate.
what he said.
So that was just one of Corbin's great one-liners.
Yeah,
And then on a little bit of a silly tangent, but the way Lilu learns English in this movie, like, she
yeah,
starts out speaking the divine language,
yeah,
which sounds really cool too. And I guess
yeah,
her and Luc Besson built and practiced the language by writing letters to each other and speaking to each other in the divine language on set.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah, but the way Lilu learns English is really interesting, and from what I understand about linguistics and from what my dad has told me about how, I learned to speak growing up, it's accurate. So when Cornelius and Corbin and Lilu are all in his apartment, but they've all been hidden for a little bit, when Lilu
yeah,
comes down out of the shower, Corbin's like, drying her off and all that, and he tells her about the auto wash.
Oh, the wash.
Auto wash, yes, auto wash in the shower.
She repeats it, and then you hear Cornelius screaming faintly, and they get him out, and Lilu goes auto wash.
What the wash?
And it was one of those things where like a kid will learn that dog means, it's referring to an animal, so they'll start calling
yeah,
every animal they see a dog. But it's still a really huge step in learning a language, because it's being able to identify that word has some kind of meaning connected with an action or a specific visual or a specific word for
yeah,
something. It's not just
yeah. You can tell that she's absorbing naturally, organically, very quickly.
exactly, exactly. I don't know a ton about the history or how they structured the divine language, but in the meet cute scene when Lilu falls into the cab and
Yeah,
she's going on about her adventures, and then she goes big bada boom,
yeah,
and I was like, "What?" Like, initially I
yeah,
was like, "What?" And then I was thinking about it and I was like, it's the divine language. It must mean that everything kind of comes from it. Everything is a little bit derived from it. So maybe that phrase is something that's just kind of stuck throughout history. So I just thought the language was interesting in that way. And
yeah.
just another one of the details that was like, all right, legacy. Sorry to go on that tangent.
I love hearing this stuff.
Okay.
It's interesting. That's why we're here.
Did you have any favorite lines in the movie before we?
Not anything in particular. I thought the dialogue, it wasn't a masterfully written, not literature, but I thought the dialogue was well done. It was written well, and I think more importantly, it was cast by people who could really deliver.
Yeah, I agree.
These people could deliver the lines. So, and they did a great job delivering the line. I think you can have crappy dialogue with a great actor, and they can turn that into something great.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I had one question, and I have never known. So you know how throughout the movie they're always saying green, like
Yeah,
was that an actual like slang thing back then?
not that I know
Oh,
of.
so it was
No,
unique to the
no,
movie.
it was made up slang. Like, you had to come up with something that was like the, the slang,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably what they came up.
No, but even that, because a lot of the time, like made up slang or made up swears or whatever sound terrible.
Yeah,
But this felt very natural. It was,
yeah.
yeah.
And if it was a real thing, I was not cool enough to know it.
No,
So
well, it's not that surprising. Bubba was actually really cool back in the day.
just ask me, I'll tell you. If you want proof, just ask.
I should show your prom picture sometime.
Maybe not. I don't know.
That'll be on Patreon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe on
Nice.
your birthday. Or my birthday. It's birthday present to me.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry. Legacy. So,
Legacy.
there are no there isn't anything really. There is a book that's been adapted from the movie. I haven't read it. I would like to. From what I understand, it's pretty faithful to the movie, but you get a little bit more background and history and stuff, which I'm all for. But Mila Jovovich did recently kind of tease a possible animated follow-up. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a show or a movie, but she's
On ice,
yeah.
the Fifth Element on
Oh my
ice. How
that
cool would that be?
I'd love to see Zorg skating around. That'd be great.
They'll make fucking anything into a musical right now. Like, hold on, like, honestly, like, I could see them doing, like, as a musical. Fifth Element as a musical.
Bubba loves musicals so much. He hates them.
Moving on.
He hates them.
Moving on.
So that's
Well, I like Wizard of Oz.
and Fiddler on the Roof.
And Fiddler on the
Yeah.
Roof, I like.
Yeah.
And there was a play called Urinetown, which was great. No, really,
No,
legitimately.
I know. It's just
A
every
while
time
ago.
you say it, it's so funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious, really good.
But yeah, besides that possible animated follow-up, there's not been really anything. I have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, I would love to see more. On the other, I don't want it to turn into like a Star Wars or, Marvel kind of thing where it's just like stupid sequels. Like if there's a expansion on this world, it would have to be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be hard to do, to be honest,
I think
because
yeah.
the story was so self-contained.
Which is so cool. It's so cool. I love that.
Although you could go back and what was it, every 3,000 years? How many years?
5,000.
5,000 years? Yeah, so you can go back 5,000 years. Or you can go forward 5,000 more.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Maybe. Yeah. But I think an animated version or an animated follow-up would be interesting. I think honestly it might be the best way to go just cuz there's so few of the actors who I think would or could come back.
Or could even be involved.
Yeah. So it's Mila Jovovich I think is really the only one who could come back
Yeah.
or would want to. So did you like this movie?
Yeah, I love it. I love this movie.
Yeah, me too.
I was so excited to show you this movie when you were young.
That's so cool.
I couldn't wait. I knew you would love it. Like when it first opened, like when we first started watching it,
Mhm.
I put it on and you were there like cramming your face full of popcorn as usual. And you're just on the couch, like in a, I think you were in your lion costume.
Oh, probably.
you
Yeah.
about had a lion costume. I'll see if I can find it. Throw that up. And she wore it all the time. It wasn't just for like Halloween. It was for.
But it was for years. Like when they first got me the costume, it was like big on me, and then when I stopped wearing it, like the legs went up to my calves. It was like
this was like her favorite article of clothing to wear.
I'm still
But
mad
anyways,
I grew out of it, but
yeah. Well, maybe someday we'll get you another.
okay.
But you're cramming your face full of popcorn, and I put it on, and then it was like the desert sequence, and you were kind of like already tuned out. You were like, all right, whatever, Dad, And then all of a sudden, the spaceship lands, and the Mondoshoans start coming out, and you kind of like caught a glimpse out of the corner of your eye, and you were like definitely interested. Yeah, you were like, what is that? And then from that moment on, you were hooked. And it was just, and your face was just like just sucking in information the whole time. It was really fun to watch you watch that, and I kept looking over to see what
Aw, that's so cool.
yeah, it's cute. It's always fun to watch you watch good stuff.
And that was such a huge part of
and I think I had to hit pause like 25 times.
because they had questions.
So what you have to know everything.
Yeah. I think
it's like, here we go.
I think the first time we watch any movie, it takes 2 or 3 times as long to watch it than the actual runtime because I have to understand.
Right. Yeah. You watch movies very carefully.
I do. I notice everything. It's And
It's fun though. It really is fun.
yeah,
It's fun to watch movies with you.
no, you
Right?
too.
And you know, we're doing this as a podcast,
Mhm.
but this is what we normally do.
Yeah, we just talk.
This is how we talk about movies.
Yeah,
This,
I mean,
this is
we
it.
have some like an outline of kind of the points we want to hit, but
Yeah.
this is how we are.
So we just wanted to share our insanity with you.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go.
Oh,
So yeah, Fifth Element, highly recommended.
definitely.
Beautifully shot, beautifully acted, fun, nice movie.
Don't be a dummy. Go watch it.
Don't be a dummy. This is a don't be a dummy movie.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think we need to do that, a list of movies. Don't be a dummy. Watch these movies.
Pretty much every movie we recommend, though.
Pretty much every
Yeah.
movie that we talk about. Yeah.
But was there
So-
anything else you wanted to say about the movie, or?
Not really. I mean, I think one of the things that I'm happiest with this movie is that Mel Gibson wasn't in it.
Or Ben Affleck.
Or Ben Affleck. Oh, let's not even go there.
Okay.
So, no.
I'm so sorry.
Happy he's not in it. Glad Bruce Willis was in it. Did a great job. Showed a lot of pretty good range. He's a decent actor.
I love
So
Bruce
I thought-
Willis.
I thought he did well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's so many little details to see in this movie, and so it's so fun to. I never get sick of watching it.
No, me either.
If it's on, I'll always watch it. If it's not on, and I'm not like researching actors like Robert Shaw or something like that, I'll watch the film. But yeah, watch it. Check it out.
Yeah,
It's fun.
definitely.
Show it to your kids. They'll like it.
Yes. Yes. And to stay tuned for our next deep dive, which is going to be The Thing, which is Bubba's favorite movie. So, yeah. I think that'll be pretty great.
It's my comfort movie.
Yeah.
These are our comfort movies.
Yes, definitely.
The Thing is like my, when you want chicken soup, like it's what you watch. And for me, it's The Thing.
Yeah.
And
It'll be our next deep dive.
yeah. And these are new for us. Again, this is a whole new thing for us, the podcast. So we're learning as we go. So we want to learn what you guys want, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Better
Absolutely.
format. How, do you like the conversation? Do you want just like bullet points? I mean, we're going to do this stuff anyway.
Mhm.
So if there's other ways we can deliver it to you or whatever, we're happy to adapt. We want to do this and make this something fun for people. We always say at the end, if it's dark outside, come in here, fly inside. So we always want to keep it fun and light and interesting and create dialogue and discussion and just, take your cares away on, talk about movies.
Yeah.
What it's all about.
For sure.
Yeah. So cheers us up. We want to cheer you up. We want to make you happy and have fun and talk about the greatest thing ever, movies.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much. We will see you soon. Like, subscribe, all the things. Yeah.
Yeah. The bell thing.
Yeah.
The notification button.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
I'm gonna pee.
You gotta go. Please.
I have to pee so bad, dude. Hold on.
Oh, all right. Okay, that's happening. All right. See you next time, guys.